This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to, another edition of Edmonton Oilers game previews here ahead of probably my most anticipated matchup of the year so far. I've got a contractor that comes in to work all the time, always talking about his Philadelphia Flyers, and man, really hoping for a turnaround year, and unfortunately for him, he's sounding a lot like Oilers fans this year. We're hoping for that turnaround, but are we buying that it's going to happen? That's the quick question we're asking ourselves today. So with that said and stated, I think as we roll into this one after our first loss of the year, you have to look for the bounce back. And, Philly had a crap miserable game against Calgary, so I was told. Haven't looked. I don't want to look how terrible Philly was and then kind of same thing say how terrible Chicago was and lose. Right? I've done that once already this year. Let's just focus on us and stay on us, shall we? Because the Oilers, coming off their first loss of the year, guys, we have 10 points. Through 6 games, we have 10 points. You want to do the math on that? We'll divide 10 by 6 and times it by 82 because, ladies and gentlemen, that's somehow 137 points on an NHL pace. So we just need to somehow lose 25 of those points somewhere along the road, and we'll settle out to be okay, I think. So with that, all kind of poop in a group kind of deal. Ignore that phone call because Buddy's just calling to probably tell me some Oilers news that hasn't broke on my screen yet. But sit here and realize the bounce back needs to come, as that's pretty much all we had to say post-game against the Chicago Blackhawks 2 days ago. So how does the bounce back come? Well, I think it's pretty clear. We beat ourselves with bad puck management for most of that game against Chicago. Obviously, number one was McDavid's puck turnovers at the blue line several times. You've got the defense needing to stretch the puck a bit more. Obviously, we're going to see that out of Joel Persson a bit more as he gets comfortable. Ethan Bear is fantastic at what he does, breaking out the passes. But guys like Matt Benning, Chris Russell, Oscar Klefbom to a degree as well need to just take that next step in moving that puck. So efficiency moving the puck is one thing that's really going to benefit us tonight against the Philadelphia Flyers, I feel like. If we can move the puck efficiently, we can skate, we can beat any team in the NHL. That's caliber of game. But the key for us, what I forgot to mention against Chicago in the game review, is the fact that, we did some good things. And one good thing we did against Chicago was we got defensive shots through. Now, we're talking that game really wasn't that special by any means or any stretch of the imagination. I just want to go back and see if I can find the NHL schedule because it was kind of ugly there in terms of shots early through the second period. So let me go back to Monday. I just want to make sure I'm giving you guys correct factual stats because if I am, good. If not, we've got a problem. And for the Oilers, in what was a 27-shot effort, or 28-shot effort against Corey Crawford, you've got shots from Ethan Bear with 1, Benning with 1, then you've got, down the list, you've got Klefbom with 1, you've got Nurse with 2, you've got Persson with 1, and you've got Russell with 0. Okay. So there you go. That's what I'm talking about, right? 5 of 6 defensemen register a shot on goal. The one problem, the drawback to that was on the power play, we couldn't get pucks through. We couldn't get anything really set up, actually, other than, of course, the James Neal tap-in goal by Ryan Nugent-Hopkins' assist. So, what are we setting up here? We're setting up puck management, puck movement, and directing the puck on net. You are not going to lose if you do all of those 3 of those things right and do them well. That's as simple as it is. So to explain how I expect the Oilers to bounce back is essentially exactly how Dave Tippett wants them to play. Strong with the puck, good with the puck, play with the puck. It's a simple idea in hockey that if you have the puck more, you're going to win. And that's, I guess, a lot of guys are getting at me with the fancy stats. Guys, I don't pay attention to the fancy stats. I have enough going on to pay attention to with just the basic stats that I don't have time for your Corsi and your Fenwick and stuff like that. I'm not saying it's imaginary stuff. I know many people think Oilers fans think it is. I know it's not. But right now, just as simple as I can make it, I don't care what the fancy stats say. If you play with the puck more, you're going to win. And fancy stats probably tell you that, but is what it is. I'm just going to simply simplify it with a sentence instead of trying to explain math that I honestly have never even looked into. So that's there. So shall we get to the lineups? Guys, if you're new to the channel and you're checking in on a game preview for the first time, hit that subscribe button. I promise most of them are better than this, but she's been a scrambly day to say the least. So let's get to the lineups, shall we, ladies and gentlemen? Draisaitl, McDavid, Kassian. Now all of a sudden, 6 games into the season after Zach Kassian's lighting it up on the top line for a second year in a row, all the media is talking about how fantastic his turnaround in the NHL has been, all that. You know what? We've known that for about a year and a half now, so it's no news to Oilers fans. Chiasson gets the chance on the top 6. Now, this is, to a lot of us who said, Chiasson's really not a bottom 6 forward, especially not a 4th line forward. Why are you paying a 4th line forward as much as you are? Well, Chiasson is ideally that replacement injury level on the second line, and there he is, slating in with Chiasson, Nugent-Hopkins, and a Neal line on that second line. Now, why is that? Because Mr. Joakim Nygard is out 2 to 4 weeks with an injury, so we'll see a new guy slot into the lineup as well, that being Kara Sheehan, Patrick Russell. So I did see a comment. I don't know who said it. I can't give you credit, but Kara Sheehan, Patrick Russell. You guys said that Sheehan and Patrick Russell with Kara is a lot better of a line than Kara Sheehan Archibald. So well, guess what? We get to see it tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and that is friggin' fantastic. Because, you know what, it was an effective line in their first few games when Josh Archibald was out with the flu. Then you've got Yurko, Granlund, Archibald on that 4th line. It's dusty. It's dirty. But it gets the job done, I think, tonight. And, again, another key to victory tonight is getting something out of a guy named Chiasson, a guy named Kara, a guy named Sheehan, a guy named Russell, a guy named Yurko, a guy named Granlund, or a guy named Archibald. 2 of those guys score, and ladies and gentlemen, we have such a good chance to win, it's not even funny tonight. So we need production out of 7 of our bottom 7 forwards tonight, and they're slotted in accordingly as you see on your screen. Nurse, Bear, guys, I want to see a bounce back, especially from Ethan Bear, because you know what, last game was rough. He looked outmatched at times, he stumbled, he bumbled, he still made up for it. Mind you, he very well made up for a lot of his mistakes, but how long can you keep that running is the question, and I really don't want it coming down after 3 or 4 mistake-laden games, a bad game that cost 2 or 3 goals because of Ethan Bear. So for him, he's got to just come out and control what he can control, play his best, and do a good job. And he's done that so far this year. Again, it just kind of all piled up on him in Chicago. So clear your head after these 2 days and get out there and get this job done tonight. I'm hoping on that top pair with Ethan Bear. Klefbom, Persson, to help Bear and Nurse kind of manage the game, I think you've got to have Klefbom and Persson be a legitimate 1A, 1B to Nurse and Bear tonight. If Nurse and Bear are going to shut it down, Klefbom and Persson are going to light it up. You know what I mean? Not light it up by being bad defensively. Don't get me going there. No, I mean by getting out there and scoring some goals on the power play, right? Joel Persson sees second power play time, and hey, you know what? I'd like a power play goal, or I'd like a 5-on-5 goal with the McDavid line, or preferably the bottom 6 out there. For Russell and Benning, guys, this is the pair that we can easily defeat every game. I literally want to see these guys never on the ice. And by that, I want them to play their 10 to 15 minutes tonight, but I don't want to see a single second of them on the ice tonight. I don't want to see them. I don't want to know they're there. I just want to see the Oilers shut it down, get it out of the zone. And that's when I start talking about guys like Russell and Benning on the D pairs. That's what I want to see. I want them to be totally unnoticeable. Because the best thing you can do as a third pairing defenseman is be unnoticeable out there. And I mean, yeah, sure, I'd love them to be noticeably offensively out there, but unnoticeable defensively is huge. And because what do you notice defensively? Bad mistakes, bad play, all that. Well, guess what? If you're unnoticeable, that means generally 10 out of 10, you did a good job. So for Benning and Russell tonight, let's just hope they're unnoticeable defensively. And gee, if they chip something, if Benning gets a cannon on net, I'm telling you, the guy could have 10 goals this year if he gets that puck on net. Now, Koskinen gets the start as far as I am aware. Ladies and gentlemen, I should double check that because I have not for sure seen that, as I don't see anything from Mikko yet. Yeah, I don't see anything, but it seems Koskinen's in the starter's net according to Bob Stauffer. That's just a quick check of Twitter, so hopefully I'm correct there. But guys, that is my game preview for tonight's Oilers game. I'm imagining it's going to be a good one tonight. You know what? Bounce back. That's the key word. We're looking for it. Philly will be hungry tonight, just as Chicago was after Philly got it handed to them by the Calgary Flames in what was a terrible effort, but they started Brian Elliott in net, so that's going to be part of the equation. We should see Carter Hart on the back-to-back tonight against the Oilers, and that's going to be the question. Is Edmonton Death Valley again in, well, as it was the 80s? Because, guys, we get that returning, we're going to be dandy. If we can beat teams back-to-backs, we'll be good. And we got this Flyers team back-to-back, then we've got this Detroit team coming in on Friday when we wear those alternate jerseys on a back-to-back. Guys, I'm Tyson, this is Dolynny TV. I'm going to predict a nice 4-1 victory over top of the Philadelphia Flyers tonight. I am up on out of here as always. Make sure to get your comments in the comments below. Give me your score prediction, and I will stay tuned for a stream later tonight. Guys, I am gone. This is Tyson, this is Dolynny TV. I will catch you in the next one.